Lucerne. It's a dual-gauge station. We're leaving on the Brünig Line train. That's the only narrow-gauge part of the Swiss Federal Railways. Note the steam loco. Next behind our loco, a BOB through coach. This meter gauge line was opened in 1889 by the Jura-Bern Lucerne Railway. It was nationalised in 1903. We're running beside one of the arms of Lake Lucerne. That's the PILATUS Bahn. We'll alight here for a side trip up the mountain, on the world's steepest rack railway. This too opened in 1889, only 3 days after the final section of the Brünig Line. It ran steam rail cars with transverse boilers at the lower end until 1937. With teeth on both sides of a horizontal bar, the Locher rack system is unique. Driving onto the vertical teeth, the horizontal pinion wheels provide a form of steering, which is backed up by flanges on the outside of the carrying wheels, riding on 80 cm gauge track. Oh, about the steam rail cars, you may see one in the National Transport Museum, Verkehrshaus, in Lucerne. The platform on this line has to be made as a flight of steps. Conventional pointwork just isn't possible. Alternative sections of track must be slid into position by a traverser. This is the only passing loop at Aemsigen. The steepest gradient is 48%, almost 1 in 2. Maybe it's easier to think of the track as inclined at about 29 degrees to the horizontal. In 3 miles, the line climbs 5,360 feet. The summit hotel's mainly for those who hope to watch a spectacular sunrise. Its elevation is 6,800 feet. It's an Alpenholm the old gent's holding, as he names the distant peaks. Now for the descent. The deeper drifts can remain all summer up here. Farmers need to be tough on these steep slopes. It'll be a military airfield. An odd effect, reflection on the driver's sun visor. Below is the Brünig Line west of Alpnachstadt. We now resume our journey towards the Brünig Pass. This is Sarnen. In the siding are two standard gauge wagons on transporters. The Sarnersee, Lake Sarnen. We are approaching the start of the first section of Riggenbach Rag. The logo in the siding will be attached to our train, more than doubling the power. On the 1 in 10 or 10% grade, Giswil soon seems far below. The end of the first rag section brings us to the Lungernsee. Though not now on rag, the 3% or 1 in 33 lifts us above the lake. A brief flashback to an earlier year shows a single loco and a Luzerner beer van on the head end. The second rack section, from Lungern up to the pass, it's a little steeper. Here's the top, at just under 3,300 feet. The west side descends along a precipitous face. The views of the Aar Valley would be better on a clear winter day with no leaves on the trees. Brunnenfluh loop. The rack continues right through. There are two unsupported rock overhangs down this 12% or 1 in 8 1/4 grade. Of traditional appearance is this post bus. As we run into Meiringen, another loco waits to back on. We must reverse here, location of the line's main depot and works. The river's been straightened to reduce risk of spring flooding when mountain snow melts. One of several Swiss rail-connected underground strategic facilities. They're hardly secret. Yes, a Swiss bathing beach on Lake Brienz. Just across the road, the steam-operated Bahn. Brienz was the west end of the Brünig Line until 1916. Paddle steamers provided the connection before then. The ship is the Lurchberg, built in 1914. She's run by the BLS Railway. Oberried, with the local train waiting for us to pass. It's high enough for the paddle steamer to easily pass below, as the River Aar and the Brünig Line both approach Interlaken.